Hello again, viewers, and greetings, fellow space travelers. This is Thorn of Night, and welcome to episode 10 of my bee breeding guide. In today's episode, we are going to go off this direction to go visit the noble branch of bees. In this branch, you're going to find three new bees: the noble, the majestic, and the imperial bees. And these bees generally like just the regular normal climate and humidity. They need flowers. They're basically just your regular bees. However, the imperial bee does offer a nice effect called the beatific effect, and that adds regeneration when you are within its territory. It will regenerate your health, and I think it also regenerates your hunger. That I'm not sure about, but there are some outputs from this line that you're going to want to know about, and this is a pretty important pivoting point in the bee breeding once you get to this line. Generally, the bees will give you some dripping comb during their production cycle, and this dripping comb can be used to get honey drops, which are common for just regular honey, and also these honeydew. Honeydew are used for making such things as mead and ambrosia and glistering melons, and also importantly, templates for doing some other bee breeding stuff. But also the imperial bees will give you this stuff called royal jelly, and this is a pretty important thing. It's used in making the serum vials, so you can do some other work with bee breeding. The scented paneling, which is used for making the alveoli, as well as it's used in the swarmer block for the alveoli. You can also make some dissipation charges to make it stop raining once you get that stuff going. But let's go ahead and hop in here and take a look at the noble branch. And I didn't crash. Yay! Alright, and this noble branch I have just here in a regular plains age that I made in Mistcraft. And this age has the access to the vast majority of other bees, so if you want to go looking around, go look at all those if you'd like. This map is available for download. I will have a link for that in the description below, so you can download it and take a look at it. I am using the Unleashed mod pack in the Feed the Beast mod pack's family setup, whatever that overlay, whatever you want to call that. But the first bee we're going to look at here is the noble bee, and you're going to need to have done the Apes branch in order to get here. And if you need help with that, you can watch my video for it, or you can hop in here to go to the Apes hub and go take a look at that. The noble bee requires a level 2 bee common and a level 3 bee, the cultivated, and you will be able to get a couple different outputs. You can actually have several different options here. You are likely to get some of these same bees that you put in, but I have here a noble bee. And let's go ahead and spawn in a noble nog, a noble drone for comparison. And first off, this looks like it only took one try to make. Let me make sure here. You can tell by looking at the princess. Oh no, it took a lot longer. 13 generations in order to get this. Whoops, I thought it took one. I guess the drones don't actually tell you how many tries it took to make it. Anyway, the noble traits that you can see on, which one is this, the hybrid? No, well, let's see here. There we go. The default noble traits, which you can see here, are pretty similar to most of what you're going to get from the parent bees anyway, but as you can see, There are some differences between the default bee and the one that I've bred here, and the only reason why there are differences is because breeding is not a perfect thing. And there are no differences there, and the output's the same, that dripping comb, but I'm going to leave these in here for you to look at, as well as the princess. And let's take a look at what you can expect to get out of one breeding cycle for a typical noble queen. We've got 2 drones output and a comb, and that's generally what you're going to expect out of one breeding cycle, 1 to 2 combs and 2 drones out of that. Now this dripping comb, which looks like this, a more yellow, you can expect to get about a stack of this honeydew, but only about half a stack of the honey drops, as you can see there also. So it's good for the honeydew, but the honey drops, you're just kind of you're going to want to probably stick with regular honeycomb from one of the Apis bees that you have over there. All right. Now let's move on to the next one, called the Majestic. It is a level 5 bee because it requires having done level 4 bee to get to it. And it's also going to need a cultivated, which is from the Apis branch. Again, you can get to it through there. And I have some stock for you to experiment with if you wish. And we have a Majestic drone, another drone. So let's go ahead and spawn in another Majestic drone for you to compare. First off, the inactive traits are cultivated, so it's going to have the a chance for the reversion back to cultivated if you leave it as a first generation, and this is one of the tricks of bee breeding. If you want to have a good steady line, you're going to have to keep rebreeding the Majestics with more Majestics to weed out all this other stuff and some of these differences over here. But it's not too much different from the default Majestic drone there. And let's take a look at this to see if there's much difference. Don't see anything there. Now let's see how long it took to get this thing. Probably wasn't, nope, it was the first generation, so that wasn't too bad. You won't always be able to get the breed you're looking for on the first try, even if it's a high chance, but this is a higher chance to get than a lot of the other bees, so it won't take too long to get to the Majestic. Now the Majestic has on average 4 drones output, so this is a great way to get a whole bunch of drones for your other breeding purposes. And it will, I guess it started raining for a second, it will put out a lot of that dripping comb, pretty high productivity, and once again, like I said, a stack of honeydew and about half a stack of the honey drops for that. Alright, now moving on to the last bee in the sequence, the Imperial bee. You are going to need a Majestic and a Noble from this branch in order to get this thing. And I have some stock in here for you to work with. And it didn't give me a princess for that, so I will grab the princess to see how long it took to get this. Just 3 generations, that's not too bad. Now let's get ourselves a drone. Imperial drone, there we go. And let's do a comparison here. First identify it, and this is an Imperial Noble. Noble, one of the bees that it took to breed this. And you can see that there are some differences. Now, the main difference that you're going to find once you actually stabilize the line is this beatific effect. Like I mentioned earlier, let's see here, no other differences there, no differences there. Alright, I will go ahead and put these in here for you to look at. Now this beatific effect does allow you to have some regeneration, and it's nighttime, but that doesn't really matter right now. And as you can see, I have flowers everywhere because they do require flowers for breeding and for for the cycle of the queen. But let's take a look at this output here. This is a typical output. 2 drones, some comb in there, and some of these royal jellies. You probably won't get an average of 1 royal jelly per queen cycle. It's a little bit lower than that, but once you've run a queen a few times, you'll start getting a good deal of these royal jellies, and it will also put out that dripping comb there. Typical output from a stack, what you can expect from that. Now, one other thing about the noble line, I'm sorry, is it is also a pivotal bee in making several other later branches, or a pivotal branch, not a typical bee. The historic, the rocky, the alloyed, the precious, the gemstone, the time, that's a kind of a fun one there, extrinsic, metallic 2, and thaumic. So there's a bunch of different branches that require you having bred these in order to do the breeding for those guys. And through here you can get back to the main hub if you so desire. But that is pretty much all there is that you really need to know about the breeding of the noble branch. So thank you very much for watching. I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, leave them in the comment section below and I'll do my best to get back to you. If you like this video and like what I'm doing here, please feel free to give me a like. I do appreciate that. And if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe so you know when my next stuff comes out. But this is where I'm going to have to wrap up. So thank you once again for watching. This is Thorn of Night, and I will talk to you later.